Hi, this is continuation from yesterday, which wherein we were talking about healing because some of the members had put in a question about what is healing and how does this begin. So yesterday I said that whatever is on the inside, you tend to unknowingly and unconsciously project on the outside, whatever it is, whether it is positive or negative, and you let that projection happen through your vibrations, through your energies, which the other people catch. Okay. Now, as I had mentioned in one of my earlier videos, that until the age of 6 years, the only way the body or you as a child are able to process the experiences of the world is through your five senses, because brain has not formed, and there is no analysis happening. So whatever is happening is actually going inside you through your senses. Okay, this is in the first 6 years. So if you have faced a lot of trauma in first 6 years, then that trauma has got seated inside. After the age of 6, when the analysis begins, then uh, this analysis comes from where, one, your mind has got formed, and two, your analysis depends a lot on your upbringing, the kind of conversations you hear as a child between your parents, the kind of talks you hear in the neighborhood, the kind of experiences, the kind of talks you have experienced in your school, your friend circle, the birthday parties you go to. So, depending on those talks, your interpretation is accordingly. Okay. And then that interpretation goes down. And most of the time, this interpretation, which means the meaning you're giving to that experience, is negative. Okay. So the negative is now settling down in your subconscious mind. So suppose that negative is settling down here. Okay. But at the same time, there are positive, but then, as I mentioned, that negative energies have more weightage. Okay. Therefore, they are heavy and they are now settling down. Now you're growing up. Okay. You keep growing up, keep growing up, keep growing up. When you become an adult, there are, your entire focus has actually shifted to the outside world. Okay. So you start living by how are you supposed to be, what are you supposed to become when you reach a certain stage in life, when you are entering your adulthood. So for instance, this is your who you are, right? Your experiences that you have gathered so far, the mostly the painful ones, this is where it has settled. Now you're growing up, and as the negative experiences are coming, you're just all putting them down because you do not want to connect with those experiences, they are so painful. So you keep living life, and each level you're living life because each level is the a representative of what you should be doing at each level. So now you're ignoring all of what is here, and you keep growing up. And then, say, suppose at the age of 18, you should have decided your subject of where you want to specialize in school. So this is what you're doing at this level. When you have graduated and you're supposed to be either working or looking for higher education, so this is what you're doing at this level. Okay. Now that you have reached this level and you have done all of that, now it's time for you to find a fantastic job for yourself. You're doing all of that at this level. Then you are supposed to get married. Fair enough, you've got married. But in that process, what is happening? All those negative experiences are getting accumulated. Your hurts, your wounds, all are getting accumulated here. Layers, 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 layers. But what you're maintaining is this. At a point in time, you should be having a car, a high-end mobile phone, the materialist possessions. By such and such time, you should be owning a house. By this time, you should have traveled abroad. So your identity of who you are is now connected, or you identify yourself with what you have become at this level. With this level is what the world is expecting you to be. This level is what the world has defined the norms to be, which you have built, suppressing all of this, going above, and this is where you have built. So now this is where you lead your life from ignoring this part, which is about those experiences which had to be attended to, which had to have your attention, which had to have your uh, continuous presence and unconditional love. But then you have left it here and you're living your life here. Your identity with this kind of a life, it doesn't take you beyond a certain point, because once you have got all of that, whether it's in terms of education, it's in terms of material possession, it's in terms of degrees, rewards, you've traveled abroad, you've got everything, and that's the time it's kind of a midlife crisis where you realize, now what, I have achieved everything. Then your mind turns here downwards suddenly about these pains, these hurts, because these keep actually showing up in bits and pieces. But still, you are not willing to look at this because the world wants to see you at a certain way. To maintain that way, you are avoiding this, because if you go here, you will actually go here, and in that process you will tend to lose lot of friends, you will tend to lose lot of relationships. Therefore, to maintain those friendships, maintain those relationships, to maintain what society wants you to be, you are not even looking here, but it is this surface which keeps showing up. Where the earthquake happens, it shakes you, and when it shakes you, you know what you do? You get into addiction of WhatsApp, Facebook. It is about entire social media. You will keep scrolling to Instagram. Some people become what is that called, they start to do excess shopping. Some of them will start to have eat excessively, emotional eating, and that's how they put on weight. Okay, so all these things you're doing because it is going to make you to avoid this, right? And it is keep going to make you to keep your identity at that level. Now once you have, there comes a time when you're fed up of shopping, you're fed up of, food, the kind of food that you see, those chocolates and those ice creams, those pizzas, those burgers don't, interest you anymore. Now you're looking for another high which is going to make you to avoid this layer, which is layer of pains, hurts, wounds. Now advertising companies come into the picture. When advertising companies come, what do they tell you? They tell you, oh, are you going down in your life? Do you really want to enjoy life? They will give you, they will advertise their products in terms of alcohol, beer, hard drinks, cigarettes, perfumes, cosmetics, dresses, branded high-end cars, shoes, bags. Okay, and then you get pulled in that direction. You move in that direction, and again, once again, you are able to maintain that because you forget all of this. The moment you get into that kind of, you know, um, addictions, you have forgotten that, and now you're again maintaining this identity. In a worst case scenario, what happens when you are again reaching that level where you've had enough of everything in life? Now what? People get into gambling. When you get into gambling, when you get into that alcohol, when you get into drugs, what happens is that, or you get into any other kind of addiction, you're actually keeping yourself away from this. Now there is more connection on the outside, because now you're identifying, okay, if I do this, which means if I take this much of alcohol, if I do this much of shopping, if I wear the, branded clothes that I have, okay, you are uh, connecting your level of satisfaction, contentment in life with those external things, now even on a more greater, to a greater extent. Still it does not give you satisfaction. And now you start to expect that contentment, that satisfaction, that joy, that peace, that happiness to come from outside world, and especially your partner. Okay, so when you are with your partner, this false sense of identity that you have been maintaining here, of having all those belongings and positions, etc., that is not there with your partner, right? With your partner, this part begins to surface, because it is this part that is crying. It is this part which is full of anger, resentment, hurt, guilt, shame, regret, jealousy, you name it, and it is all here. Okay. So the healing is when you reduce the gap between the false identity you are maintaining about yourself and who you actually are. And this happens when when you start to heal, one layer here gets broken, second layer gets broken, third layer gets broken. This gap keeps on reducing. The you know when it starts to reduce, and to the extent over a period of time when the gap is not there between what you're trying to show to the world you are and who you are, that is the space, that is the place from where you can create. That is the space and that is the place of creation. That is where your healing, those layers have moved. That is where you've looked down to these feelings, these emotions. Those layers have moved, have got peeled off, and therefore you are able to find that joy and that peace within you. And then from that place of peace, from that place of calm, from that place of joy, when you connect to the outside world, you are automatically vibrating with lots of positive energies, positive vibrations, and people start to get drawn to you. You no more identifying yourself with the positions, with the roles, with the salary, with the money, with the brands, and every which way you are able to find the satisfaction. So healing is a journey wherein you start to remove these layers that you have built in your experiences of life. It is very painful to look at those layers. Therefore, you will always need hand holding to have the healing done. There are healers like Reiki, etc. But then, those things work only for a very short period of time. Healing works best when you become your own healer. Okay, when you start to look at this layer and embrace it, no matter how painful it is. Because healing journey, when you look at those pains, when you look at that resentment, when you look at that jealousy, when you look at that guilt, shame, there is lot of pain there which shows up. This pain then begins to peel off. It is a painful journey. Therefore, instead of turning to external healers like pranic healing, Reiki, etc., which is okay for some time, but it doesn't give you the long lasting results, you got to become your own healer. And then you see how your life begins to transform. Okay. uh, this is something I would recommend, that begin your healing journey at the earliest possible, because it's a long journey. There is no end, but then by the time you reach peace, by the time you reach joy, by the time you reach calmness, there is quite a lot of up and down that is going to happen. I will be starting my healing program after the this 100 days challenge gets over. We are left with 90 days to go. So after that, I am going to be opening the healing program for you guys. And if you're interested, you will need to let me know either privately or in the comment box that you are interested. So if you're really interested in beginning your healing journey, then write in the comment box, I am open to healing myself. When you write this, I will know that you are interested, and in that case, whenever that program is ready, even the beta version is ready, I am going to be messaging you. So we will be starting that group. Okay, that's it from me to you. And somebody is very happy with the explanation here. Thank you so much. And should you have any questions on this, I have just given you the basics, the very, very basic, the foundation. There is a lot that goes into this journey. Okay, but this is just to give you an idea of how this works, right? So that's it from me to you, and I'm going to be seeing you tomorrow, same time, 3:30. You, should you have any questions, please ask. And if you are watching this on YouTube and you like this, please forward this video to as many people as you can, so that they also benefit. And if you've liked it, and yes, click the like and the subscribe button as well. Okay, see you tomorrow, 3:30. Bye. And remember, if you really wish to start your healing journey with us, do write in the comment box or write to me privately. I will connect with you. Bye. Take care. And we connect again tomorrow, 3:30.